Oh, this is going to be good. For just the fifth time in the last 30 years, two Canadian teams are going head-to-head in the second round or later in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So there's going to be a Canadian team that's going to reach the Western Conference Final this year. It's so big. We've got Ryan Rishaug and Farhan Lalji both covering this series. You guys are going to be attached at the hip through the entire time. And let me light a fire between the two of you guys right now. Gentlemen, game one goes tonight in Vancouver. All the talk so far I've been hearing is the Edmonton Oilers are the overwhelming favorites to beat the Vancouver Canucks. Finish this sentence. When you hear that phrase, you think what? Ryan, you start and then Farhan jump in.
I think it's a bit situational. Like, what I would throw back at you guys is if Thatcher Demko were completely healthy and Elias Pettersson had 4 goals in the first round, would it be that significant a sway in the opinions? I think the Oilers would still be favored, Farhan, but I think some of it is a little bit situational. The Canucks have not been here as a group before. The Oilers have some scars from past losses. You know they're going to be battle-tested and ready. I think that sways things. But Farhan, I mean, the situation in net, the situation with Pettersson, like that definitely moves this thing even further over in the Oiler direction.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you want me to respond to that, yeah, they should be overwhelming favorites. And because of the reasons that Ryan outlined, I know that's not fun. We're supposed to argue right now. But the goaltending less so than what's happening up front. Because when you look at how Vancouver performed offensively in that last round, I mean, 13 goals in 6 games is not going to get it done against the Oilers. And really, it's been a trend of how this team finished the regular season, because at the start of the year, you know, they were on fire offensively. Their PDO was through the roof, all of that. But then things declined a little bit. And really, Elias Pettersson is the biggest reason for that right now. I mean, when you look at just what he's been playing like since the All-Star break, he has been very quiet. He was very quiet in that last round. And the Canucks, if they want to beat the Oilers, need to be firing on all cylinders. So based on form, Edmonton absolutely should be overwhelming favorites.
Farhan, do you, like, we talked to Pettersson today, and I know you talk to him all the time. Gino, I'm sure you have watched the interview. Like, super subdued, super quiet, super chill. I'm not sure if the weight of the world is maybe sitting on his shoulders, if you notice anything different. But, like, how confident are you that he's going to come out and put his stamp on a series where they really need him?
Not at all. And I say that, you know, the subdued interviews, that's how he is, especially when things are going bad. And, you know, look, he was sick.
Your questions is the problem.
Sure, but I asked 2 of like 20. And he was sick yesterday, so he missed practice. So that led to a little bit of his subduedness. But for the most part, the weight of the world is on his shoulders. He understands what's expected. This is a guy that just signed an 8-year, $11.6 million contract. So big picture, if the Canucks bow out meekly and don't get enough offense, 5-on-5 and on the power play, and Elias Pettersson performs like he did, he's now got to wear that for the entire offseason. Going into the first year of the new contract, the weight of the world is on his shoulders. And guess what? To whom much is given, much is expected. Time to step up, number 40.
Speaking of the superstars, Shogger, you went one-on-one with Connor McDavid today. What was your takeaway from that conversation with him?
Yeah, I mean, pretty calm. I think that, like I said before, Gino, the Oilers have kind of been down this path before. They've had some good experiences in round 2, and they've had some bad experiences in round number 2, and I think that they've learned some lessons on that front. I think, you know, he is the leader of a group that has learned the right way to handle off days, the right way to handle travel days in the playoffs, the right way to handle, you know, time on their hands like they have right now. So, you know,
the right way to handle your questions.
Yeah, the right way to handle our questions about how do you feel about all this time off? And they're thrilled that they get to talk to us day after day after day when there's no games to play. I sense that McDavid is ready. You know, I think everybody expects that Connor McDavid will meet this moment. It's going to be a big test for this group because, you know, they lost all 4 regular season games against the Canucks this year. And I agree that doesn't really mean anything right now. Gino, I do agree with that. But at the same time, these players have gone head-to-head with McDavid and Draisaitl and beaten them a few times this year. Those were still individual matchups where they had to go head-to-head and someone had to come out the winner. This Canucks team has done it. So if the Canucks get some early momentum in this series, maybe feels a little like the same old. But I got the sense he was calm and ready to go. I'm really anxious, Gino. He's always anxious on a game day to just get it going.
Yeah, but when the Canucks were facing the Oilers this year, the Oilers were still the old Oilers. The first 3 games were before Knobloch took over, so that was an entirely different team. So Farhan, Rick Tocchet was talking today about, and obviously being asked, what are you going to do to try to shut down Connor McDavid and Draisaitl? This is a team that was the second highest scoring offense in the entire NHL during the regular season, averaging over 4.5 goals a game. the Canucks have got home ice. They got last change. What's the plan with McDavid and Draisaitl?
Well, first and foremost, I think they want to keep this a 5-on-5 series, right? When you look at McDavid and Draisaitl, 3 points each at 5-on-5 in the first round. So can they keep them there? We'll see. And their penalty kill has also gotten a lot better and was really good in that last round against a very potent Nashville power play. But in terms of matchups, I think you're going to see the JT Miller line go against the McDavid line. And that happened earlier this season. I think Miller feels like he's been able to have some success, and he savors that matchup. He likes those moments, and he thinks there's times where he's been able to get under McDavid's skin, and I think he's going to try to do that as well. And that puts the Lindholm line, I believe, on the Draisaitl line. Now, 2 years ago, Draisaitl had Lindholm's lunch when they went head-to-head in that series between Edmonton and Calgary. But I think he's got some better support pieces around him as well now. So I think Lindholm can go into this with a level of confidence and comfort just in that role, because maybe less of an offensive role is going to be required if he can handle that. And, you know, the face-off matchups are going to be really good because Draisaitl is very good in the circle. Lindholm has been very good in the circle for Vancouver. The other thing I think might happen is I think you'll see a lot of Quinn Hughes' line against the McDavid line, or the pairing, I should say, because I think they feel that if they want to defend, they've got to do it by playing offense. They've got to do it by having the puck on their stick. No one has had the puck on his stick in the entire NHL this year more than Quinn Hughes, the likely Norris Trophy winner. So I think if they can go there, that's going to be the best situation for him. And it also means, you know, when you look at McDavid's line, that's not necessarily a heavy line that's going to try to wear down Hughes. So if they can get him out against McDavid, physically, that might be better for Hughes as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with 5-on-5, though, because if you look at the numbers from the first round, like the Oilers actually, they gave up quite a bit at 5-on-5 play, or even strength play compared to the Vancouver Canucks. And I know Gino will talk about the power play here in a minute. I mean, the Canucks want no part of trying to figure out that Oiler power play. The less they're on the ice, the better. But even strength is a big thing, Gino. And McDavid said coming out of that first round, they need to do a better job at even strength. It's been a huge focus for them. They've been working on a lot over the last couple of days, I think, to try and make sure they start fast. But even strength, I mean, the power play may win or lose this series, I'm not sure. But if the refs put the whistles away, it changes the series a lot.
You know what affects the special teams, though? Goaltending. So let's play tail the tape and net. Skinner just given up 4 goals in his last 3 games. Artur Shilovs has only given up 5 goals in his last 3 games. So relatively even over the last few games. Give me a sense of who you think's got the edge. Ryan, you start, then Farhan, jump in there. Let me know what you think about the guys between the pipes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Skinner's been here. He's tried to do this before. Didn't go great in round 2 against Vegas, right? Pulled 3 of his last 4 games there. So, you know, Skinner knows what to expect and has done a lot of work to try and make sure he gets better results. It's a much different situation for Skinner. He's felt that spotlight all year. He's used to bouncing back when things don't go well. He's used to standing in front of the media and talking about performances that weren't ideal and taking accountability. And these are all things, Farhan, in the playoffs that you're going to have to do, that the Canucks guy will be doing for the first time. So it's different, right? I think it has to be advantage Edmonton because of Skinner's experience level and because he has a track record of learning from mistakes and coming back stronger.
But he also has a track record in previous years of making those mistakes. And can the Canucks put him in that position again? And in the last game, there was a bit more offensively from Vancouver, right? They did manage 30 shots, and they had more scoring chances, 20 high dangers, according to Clearside Analytics, in the last 2 games. They had 20 to 11 in terms of high dangers. So the Canucks they can generate. They just need to be able to do it from all 3 lines. And can they put that kind of pressure on Skinner and test him? As far as Shilovs is concerned, this guy doesn't know what he doesn't know. And that's the best part of it, right? 23 years old. The guy was the goaltender for Latvia, and huge pressure for him with the tournament in that country last year. Got him a bronze medal, so he lived in that world. So he's comfortable. I don't think this stage is going to rattle him. I mean, I'm not telling you that he's a better goalie than Skinner when Skinner's on right now, but I am telling you that he will not get fazed by all of this. I think you'll get the best of him. And as far as the thought that maybe Thatcher Demko comes back late in the series, I still think it's a long shot. I think Vancouver needs to be focused on this guy in front of him. But more than anything, I think they've got to have some confidence in how good this team has been defensively. Because when you look at the defensive metrics for them, fewest chances in the league since March 1st allowed on the rush, expected goals in the top 3, right? I mean, they're so good defensively right now, the way they've been playing. I think they want to lean on that. That's allowed them to win games with 3 different goaltenders in round 1.
Gino, we've seen in the past teams win a Stanley Cup with okay goaltending, right? The Colorado Avalanche a few years ago. And if you were to ask a lot of pundits and Oiler experts, what does Stuart Skinner need to do for the Oilers to win and to move on? I think a lot of them would say, just be steady. Just do your job. He doesn't need to be fantastic, doesn't need to be spectacular. But I guess my point on this would be, at a certain point, I wonder if there is room for Stuart Skinner to be taking that step where the conversations we're having are about, oh, look what Stuart Skinner is doing. This isn't just about getting by and not making too many mistakes. He's actually playing excellent. It's possible, Gino, that Skinner is ready to take that step. He had a bit of a blip in round number 1. We talked about it a lot, and he was excellent after that. So what does he do now? Are we about to see a new level from Stuart Skinner? What could that mean for the Oilers? I don't know the answer, but I don't think it always just has to be about just be okay, and the Oilers will be okay when it comes to Skinner.
You know what else is excellent? This conversation. I love this. I hope we can do this for 2 full weeks and the series goes 7 games because it's a lot of fun. Ryan Rishaug, Farhan Lalji from Vancouver. Game 1 tonight between the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. Enjoy the game, guys.
Gino, we are literally joined at the hip. We are literally joined at the hip.
Perfect.
This is connected to both of us. So, like, we're not going anywhere. We're going to lunch, and all of this stuff we're keeping on. We're joined at the hip for a week and a half.
He better shower.
Oh, man. Enjoy. That was a little TMI at the tail end, but oh well.